I'm excited to share with you something I've added to my work on my podcast, The Adrienne Ross Show, under Adrienne Ross Communications. I've decided that I want to go out and talk to people about various topics. I'm not interested in setting people up. I'm not interested in casting anybody in any particular light. I don't even care if I agree with them. I just want to talk to people and hear where they're coming from. So I went out for the first time a few days ago, and then I got to go out again, and this time on the college campus, and talk to some young people. Again, I am excited about it, and I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you continue to tune in as I go out and talk to people about where they're coming from. Looking forward to more of it. My first question is, are you a registered voter?
Yes, I am.
Okay. On a scale of 1 to 10, where would you measure in terms of your political awareness?
Oh, gosh. I would register as a whole on an 8.
An 8, okay.
Because you want to know what's going on in the world, but then you want to know what's going on in your community. And as the world as a whole, you try to be politically correct because that's just the right thing to do. But sometimes it can be just overwhelming because politicians don't really understand the struggle of everyday people.
So you don't see politicians as your everyday people?
No, I don't.
All right. So may I ask, are you Democrat or Republican?
I'm for what's right. Because if I said that I was a Democrat, you would say, oh, she's only saying that because she's a black woman. Or if I said I was a Republican, you would say, oh, something's wrong with her because she's black and she's a woman and she's not a Democrat.
Listen, you're hitting on a conversation for another day that we can really get into, for sure. If you were to cast a vote as a Democrat today in that
primary,
would
definitely be for Biden because he's the current president now, and the other two politicians that's actually running for that office, one is a woman, so you would want to see her succeed, and another one is another man. You want them all to have some kind of connection with you. So my connection right now would be, as of today, would be with Biden.
Okay, now let's go to the other side. If you were to vote in a Republican presidential primary, I'm going to list a few because there are a lot running, right? So let me just list a few.
Mr. Pence.
Okay, tell me why.
Because he's held the office under someone that was not very politically spoken in a very positive manner. So I would think that he wouldn't make the same mistakes that president made.
So you're thinking he observed it,
learned from it, and knows the do's and don'ts.
Hey.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great today. Just on my way to work.
All right, well, I won't hold you too long. I just have a few questions for you.
Of course.
All right, are you a registered voter?
No, ma'am, not at the moment.
Okay, do you intend to be?
Yes, ma'am.
Let me ask why. You're old enough.
Yes, ma'am, I am.
What has held you up?
Really just like life, me like focusing on working, focusing on building myself up. I really haven't had the time to do all that stuff.
All right, so let me ask this. Do you have any idea if you were registered to vote, do you lean more as a Republican or a Democrat, you think?
Really, when I get into starting to vote and everything, I'm gonna start doing a way more research than I already do right now to have good line, so I don't just jump into one side without knowing.
You want to know what's up, not what people are just saying. I'm going to name a couple people, and I just want you to share with me briefly what comes to your mind.
Yes, ma'am.
First name, Donald Trump.
Hatred. Everybody hates him. Yeah.
Hatred for him or hatred from him? People hate him?
Yeah, people hate him. I'd say people definitely feel like he hates us. But maybe he doesn't, maybe he does, but people definitely do not like him. Okay. If you're not on his side, then you are fully against him.
Wow. Yeah, you either love him or you hate him, you're saying?
Yeah, it's not really you can't really be neutral with Donald Trump.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I've never ran into anybody neutral about him.
Yeah. All right. Where do you fit in that?
He ain't bothering me.
All right, so what do you think about Joe Biden?
Joe Biden, definitely kind of was I think we should have an age maximum because you can't really fight against age or time. You can heal yourself, you can take medicine, do all this, but time is going to get you in the end, and genetics. So if you have Alzheimer's or dementia, anything like that, you can't really fight it.
And you're sensing a little something going on with him.
Yes, ma'am. The age is kind of getting to him a little bit. What I have been seeing is him like not really being a president, but being an elderly like man, if that makes sense. Yeah, gotta wonder.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much.
What was your name again?
Adrienne.
Adrienne.
Are you a registered voter?
Yes, I am.
Okay. May I ask, are you Democrat or Republican?
I'm a Democrat.
Okay. On a scale of 1 to 10, what would you say? Where do you fall in terms of your political awareness?
Fairly high. I would say in about the 90 percentile.
Who knows who's going to jump in before it's over? But if you had to cast your vote, where would your vote go today?
We call him Papa Joe. It would still go to Papa Joe.
It would go to Papa Joe.
Yes, I would say because he's done a lot. I mean, people, they haven't fully given him credit for everything that he's rolled out. And so I feel like in a couple of years when all of those things, really come into play, we'll see how impactful his decisions were.
Okay, let me ask you this. Didn't plan to, but I will. What about his age and what appears to be some cognitive issues?
I mean, I would say this. I mean, it's a concern because, but it's not a concern for me specifically for Joe, for President Biden. It's a concern for all of the officials who are getting, up in age. I think that they all run the risk of kind of tainting their, everything that they've done just by not allowing for the next generation to step in and to be nurtured and trained by them. And so in some ways it can be selfish that they're not, removing themselves so that other people who are just as capable can learn from them, glean from them, and then, kind of move forward.
But you're willing to give him another 4 years. You think he'll last that long?
Well, based on what they've put in front of us, I would give him, or unless there popped up another, candidate from the middle or something like that. That really
Can you think of someone else that you would vote for over him?
And that's the sad part. I can't.
Wow. Yeah.
Nobody out there stands out right now.
Right.
There's not another Barack Obama that's coming up the ranks that I've seen, or just anything that's really kind of challenging
concerning.
For sure.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you.
Yes,
thank you so
you're
much.
welcome.
May I ask if you are a Democrat or Republican?
So I'm actually registered as a libertarian. Yeah,
Wow.
So neither of the two dichotomies.
I didn't foresee that.
I don't follow things every day. I tend to try to stay off of social media currently.
Okay.
But I don't feel like I'm entirely uninformed, but take that with a grain of salt. And typically, historically, I would vote definitely more right.
Okay.
However, I can see there's some policies, like previously people like Tulsi Gabbard.
Yep.
There's some things I would definitely agree with her on.
Yes.
I don't know a lot necessarily yet about RFK Jr., but I've heard some things that I might be interested in.
Okay.
But on average, it would be more so towards the right.
Okay.
I would probably not vote for Trump.
Okay.
I think he gets a lot of flack. He's not necessarily as bad as his reputation is, but I probably wouldn't vote for him. I would lean more towards DeSantis because he seems like he would be more like a strong leader, but with less of the provocation and social media presence in some sense. Give me a moment to think about it.
Yeah.
Why is Ron DeSantis polling behind Trump, or
So
why
far behind.
Trump still so successful? I don't know if there's a disconnect between his policies and his actual stage presence. I don't know. I mean, clearly Trump is a stage presence, so there is the character that's built around it.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that helps kind of, is kind of like a call to arms where people are feeling like they can get behind Trump more, whereas maybe DeSantis is a bit more of a put your nose down and do it type of person. Maybe it's just like, I'm here to have good policy and get the job done, and less so about the way Trump is a marketing whiz or sales whiz and really trying to sell himself.
Just one final question.
Yeah.
Do you think Trump is going to pull it out? I don't know about
nomination. I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised. Will he? But the weight seems like inflation is gone, the economy is gone. The reasons why he won the first time sounds like they're only maybe increasing in the past 4 years. So maybe people are clinging to that because despite his personality, he did have some things that seemed to be working.
Yeah.
So he might pull it off. I mean, I don't know.
He's got 4 indictments and probably more to come.
Yeah, so that is very interesting that that's going on, and despite that, he's still polling so well. So I don't know what that says about us as a country, good or bad.
Okay, here I am outside of Southeast Missouri State University, commonly called SEMO or Southeast, and I'm ready to talk to some young people. So here we go. Okay, we're gonna walk up the hill here and see if we can find some folks to talk to. All right.
You will find him everywhere, wherever people live together, tied in poverty's despair.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how politically aware would you say you are?
Maybe a 5 or a 6.
All right, are you registered to vote?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, may I ask, Democrat, Republican?
I'm independent. I am democratically leaning, but I live in a majorly red state, and so I realize that a lot of my opinions may not be similar to those that live around me, so I chose independent. I am a sophomore.
Do you know who you would cast your vote for? Or would you cast your vote for a Republican?
I have no idea. I would want to do my research first, and I really would like to look into everyone before I make my decision.
Okay, good. What do you think of Biden?
I am kind of mixed. I think some of the things he's doing are great, but some of them may need more time.
And let's just get the dog. What year are you?
I'm a freshman.
I just have just a few political questions.
Okay.
So on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you gauge your political awareness?
I'd say 4 at the most. I try not to think about that too much.
Did you grow up in a political family?
Not really.
Okay. Are you registered to vote?
Yes.
You are.
I'm 18.
Okay. Republican, Democrat?
I guess whatever. As long as I have a roof over my head and I feel safe where I live, I really don't care who runs. Honestly, I used to have a bad thought about Trump, but ever since Biden, I feel a little bit concerned about him running continuously. I hope that Trump does come back, or someone else, as long as Biden.
So what is it about Biden that bothers you?
I think it's mainly about his age and his mental state at the moment. He can barely hold up a conversation on camera.
Now, I'm at the campus, but you said you're a little older.
Yes, I'm going to be 30 in November. I know there's no perfect answer, but I really do feel like our government shouldn't be telling us, you know, like what our bodies should do, or who we should marry, because you know, our country was founded on freedom of religion, and not every religion feels the same way about those topics.
Are you a person of faith?
I am. Yeah. I've been voting green for the last couple of elections that I voted. And people are always like, oh, that's a wasted vote, but it's just morally, I can't support, you know, what our politicians are doing, what they're lying to us about and stuff like that.
Now, Green Party right now is Cornel West, Professor Cornel West. Are you familiar with him?
So I've heard of him, but I have not gotten too into who is running for this next one.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much for being willing to talk to the Adrienne Ross Show. And you're a student here at SEMO.
Yep.
What year are you?
I'm currently a sophomore.
Okay. So let me ask you this. When someone mentions politics,
Yep.
what comes to your mind?
Kind of like diversity is kind of the big thing I think about. Kind of how both sides can meet in the middle is kind of what my mindset is, and how everyone can reach a middle ground.
Okay, and you think that's what we should do?
Yes.
Okay, so on a scale of 1 to 10, how politically aware would you say you are?
Probably like a 6, maybe.
Okay, are you registered to vote?
No, not currently.
Okay, you plan to be?
Yep.
Do you know what party fits your values most?
Probably Republican right now, but I'm 50-50. It's more or less what political people like kind of their mindset, and then I'll vote for the right person based on that.
Okay. Do you know who would have your vote if that primary were today?
Not currently. I'm not as aware of what they individually go for, so I can't really say who I'd personally vote for.
Okay.
I'm not like in the spectrum right now compared
Yes.
to most people, just because, you know, I'm out of the loop.
Do you think, because I'm hearing people talk a lot about his age, do you feel that that's
No.
a concern?
No, I don't know. I feel like age isn't like a big factor personally to me.
Yeah.
It's more or less what you do and what actions you do for the country compared to
Yeah.
age.
Do you think that could be a time though when it's like you're maybe not just because you're a certain age, but your cognitive ability and stuff?
Yeah, I feel like that definitely does come into factor, but I think, you know, it definitely depends on, you know, if something does happen, how's it going to be taken care of? That type of situation needs to be evaluated 100%.
All right, thank you so much for taking the time. I know you're in a hurry, so we're gonna do this fast. What
right.
year are you at SEMO?
Senior.
Here. Now, when you hear politics, what comes to your mind?
Controversial issues.
Are you involved?
I vote, but I'm not up to date on everything. Always just the general elections.
Okay, so on a scale of 1 to 10, how aware would you say you are?
Probably a 3 or 4. Like, I don't think I do enough research.
What are your thoughts about what's coming up?
I want to see some younger people in it. I mean, we've had some older people the last few years.
Yes. You concerned about that, like Biden's age, for example?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I voted for Biden myself, so, but I don't think that he should go again. He's just too old, and he's definitely shown, even 4 years, it's like, you're seeing it all decline.
All right, I'm about to get back in my car, wrapping this up. I enjoyed the opportunity to talk to these college students at SEMO, Southeast Missouri University, and it's interesting to hear what they have to say. And I hope to do this again. All right.